It's important. What are we teaching our young people? Our water doesn't just come out of the wall. Where it goes, where's everything going when it goes down the drain? And I mean everything. You ought to know that. I saw something really disturbing, and I've seen it a whole bunch, more and more lately, and I see it when I'm camping. And it's just a simple thing, like car camping and watching other people in the campground, which I'm not watching everybody, but it's just hard to miss somebody who's struggling putting up their tent. A little stove here is a simple thing to start, but it might take you one lesson to learn how to use a stove in your life, and then you know how to use a stove, almost any stove, because it's just gas. Anyway, we won't get into stoves, but the one thing I've experienced when I'm camping in the last few years, and actually for a lot of years, but more and more now, is I'll see somebody who's got all the new stuff, and they'll actually even come and talk to me like, hey, ask me what I'm doing on the bike, and how it's going and things like that, and really cool. And sometimes they'll ask me, hey, can you help me? Or I'll see they're struggling with their tent. The tent is the classic one. And the tent poles, you get a new tent. I've been there, and it's a lot of times the big family tent, that big huge one with all the poles, and this first time out. And those are a struggle, but enough about tents. Then maybe just the stove, like here, just starting the stove, the family's getting hungry. Oh no, I should have tried this first. It's the simple things. Water filter, by the way, get one. And the simple things that, you learn when you're younger, usually you learn all these things like I don't want to use Boy Scouts for an example, but, on backpacking trips with your aunt, uncles, and, things like that. But the main thing is you're learning those kind of things young. And otherwise, if you don't learn them, you get in your life like at some point and you go camping with your family. You're like, oh, okay, I didn't know how to start a stove. No big deal, right? None of that is a big deal. The important thing here is if you don't know these things, any of these things, is to never be afraid to ask. That's the thing is a lot of times, especially men, they're just afraid to ask, and that's everything from, well, it used to be directions. Now you got Google. But, a simple thing like a fire. If you don't know how to build a fire, learn how to build a fire, a small fire first, and just the basics of building a fire. That's it. I mean, that's where it starts. That's your center point, is fire. Fire and water. Find water and have fire. But those are the kinds of things that I see people struggling with. And if you see somebody struggling with building a fire and you know how, give them a hand, or at least offer. And those are the things that are important, not just to know how, not, hey, I'm Mr. Know-How or Mrs. Know-How. It's, hey, I know how, let me help you. But what I do experience, especially in the last couple of years, is young families or just young people that have a lot of technical skills. They've got like they've got the world in front of them, man. Degrees, multiple degrees. They've got all the skills. Some of the skills are just some of the logic skills, some of the skills, not, lightweight survival skills, like how to start a fire, or tie a knot. Tying a knot is another one. Just other than a granny knot, do you know any knots? And also, can you make fuel flow through a stove so you can heat up water, to heat up water for your family? The simple things that aren't so simple if you didn't learn them when you were younger. And those are some of the things, and they were a big concern to me years ago, like, oh man, here I've got a guy with a PhD, but he can't even help me, put the tent stake through the, and I get that. I'm not a PhD for a reason. I don't have that part of my brain doesn't work. I'm not a scientist, but, these kind of things and these kind of skills I do have. But they're simple skills, really, and they're skills that I've had for a long time. Being able to start a fire, tie a knot, make things secure in our society now. What's important? What are we teaching our young people? Are we teaching young people just the simple skills that, they really will and could need in any given time? Water doesn't just come out of the wall. We should know where the water comes from and where it goes. Where's everything going when it goes down the drain? And I mean everything. You ought to know that. It's a thing that it makes you think about, your impact on how much water you use, things like that. I use a lot of water, more than I should, but I keep an awareness. Oh yeah, boy, I'm using a lot of water, because I know it doesn't just come out of a wall. Anyway, please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed that one. Just a thought. A lot of times these thoughts come to me and I think, common sense, all these things that, to survive, they should be instilled early, so later down the road you at least know the fundamentals of survival. Thank you.